Good morning, my fellow Zenites. Did you check your pulse and wallet balance with your coffee this morning? Well, Slanjivar, everyone. Hope you're all doing very well. As you can see, I'm not at the house, still at sea. First of all, let me just see if you can hear me. If somebody could kindly put a 2 in the chat to make sure that you can actually still hear. We're getting started in just a few seconds. All right, could somebody very kindly put a number 2 in the chat if you can hear me? This doesn't sound good. Okay, so this afternoon is just a quick middle of the week update on the Pulse Chain World and Pulse Zen and what we can expect going forward. But the thumbnail suggests something about a $33 million question. Just wait for this boat to go past, a bit noisy, and then we'll be starting. One of the most important things to understand is that on Pulse Chain, there are actually 2 versions of DAI. If I could just show you, it's very important to note that these 2 coins are completely different. We have DAI from Ethereum and DAI that's just a made-up DAI. And because of the nomenclature on Pulse, it's sometimes very confusing about what you're actually dealing with, because one is actually valued at a dollar rather, and one is not. It is considerably lower. And people can get very confused about this. So it's quite important that you understand that there is a major distinction about what you're dealing with. So how does DAI achieve its parity level? Well, it all comes and it all stems from a protocol developed by the Ethereum team called MakerDAO on Ethereum chain, not Pulse chain. It's on the Ethereum chain. DAI maintains its parity with a dollar by virtue of the fact that the people who create DAI have to actually over collateralize with other assets, and then through various mechanisms it is kept as a dollar. Now, when Richard Hart copied over, first of all, it was a different chain that he was trying to copy, but we ended up copying the Ethereum chain, which meant that all of the contracts that were available on the Ethereum chain were directly moved over to Pulse chain. So of course, we've got copies of the MakerDAO contracts on Pulse chain. So in theory, one should be able to run MakerDAO on Pulse chain. We'll have Pulse DAO. But of course, it doesn't work. And the reason it doesn't work is manifold. But of course, one of the main reasons, there's no developer working on it. And also, it would take an awful lot of money to actually do that. You know, would you look at this? Of course you would. You'd like to have your own stablecoin in your own chain. But, you know, who actually created it then? Well, if we look here, this is Ethereum. Now, I'm not going to go back in all of these transactions and show you, you know, what's what from start to finish, but I will just point out a couple of things. Who actually started it? Well, it was this wallet. And you can see the address there. And you can see when he created it, because it also, if you go on to Etherscan, you can find this out by just merely looking at the coin, the false DAI. We're talking about the false DAI with this contract number 0F at the end. And you can see that it became into existence about the 19th of November, 2019, created by this wallet. Now, it was created somewhere around there. Okay, we know that for definite, and this is the actual transaction that actually produced the we'll call it the false DAI 5 years ago. And you can see the time here was November the 13th at 1509, I believe. And that was on Etherscan. If we can just have a look at where we can see this here. Okay, sorry. It was November the 13th, 2019 at 7 o'clock in the morning. That address, through the maker deployer, actually created the false DAI to be messed about with on Ethereum chain at that stage. And then later on, same day, exactly the same day, but in the afternoon, the same coin was ported over to the Pulse chain through the MakerDAO system that was running on Pulse chain. Isn't that remarkable? So they were definitely thinking about it. They were definitely going to look at it. One of the most important things is how many DAI are there in actual fact? Well, here's the DAI stablecoin, and this is the confusion, I think. You would think that this is the coin that is of value on the network, and it isn't. This is a completely made up coin ending in 0F, okay? Two entirely different contracts, each with a different contract number. Be very careful about what you're doing. And you can see here there's about 22 million DAI stablecoin. Now, the way that this works on Ethereum is that you deposit a certain amount of other crypto assets onto the network, the MakerDAO network, which is now, I think it's called Spark FI. And in return, you get to play about with a DAI. This is where you get DAI from. And the way that the system is set up, one of the mechanisms, there's 3 or 4 different mechanisms to maintain the price of DAO. But one of them is that you would put in a certain amount of assets, and because of the way things are going to stabilize or unstabilize, you have to put in a little bit more. And I think basically at the moment, it's about 150% of the value of a DAI is put in on one side, and out the other side comes a DAI, so that should the value of DAI change, then your position, they call them vaults, can be liquidated and you end up with 1 DAI, and that's the end of it. Well, this DAI ending in 0F for the contract is on Pulse chain. And the thing is, we do not have a running MakerDAO on Pulse chain. There are certain elements that are missing. Yes, the contracts have been ported over, but we do not have a price oracle. And the price oracle is absolutely critical in order to make this actually work, and various other different components as well. And I think initially they were looking at them, but they certainly didn't finish it. They did not finish it. And the thing is, having just explained that you have to have on one side assets, and then you get your die, and then they're matched up basically 1-to-1, and you have to put in 150% to get your die. Well, in order to make this work on Pulse Chain, somebody would have to actually sort of say, okay, we need to make sure that we've got at least 22,187 million die are false die on Pulse Chain, backed by other assets. Now, 22 billion is what we have here. Then, under the mathematics of it all, somebody's got to put in about $32 billion. Now, my argument is, could Richard Hart do that? Let's think about that. He's a very wealthy guy, but $32 billion is no small chump change. Not even to me. And not even to Richard, who's far wealthier than I am, I'm sure. But the fact of the matter is, that's a huge gamble to take, creating a coin when in actual fact, all right, we're relying on the bridges, which we're not too happy with, but we're relying on the bridges, and we've got DAI already on the chain. Couldn't that $32 billion be used in a better way for at least for the next few years? I mean, there are going to be on and off ramps into Pulse Chain. I think, is it Coast Protocol? I think they have reopened. And although, yes, they are a kind of a centralized exchange in that they have to comply with KYC laws. You have to sign up with your real name, and then you can transfer real fiat to Pulse Chain and then buy Pulse or whatever asset directly. But it's still, not quite DeFi, as it were. But those avenues are available to you without having to commit $32 billion in the creation of a MakerDAO on Pulse Chain. Now, it's very easy. It's not easy, but you can see who actually created the Pulse Chain MakerDAO. You can follow it through, and you can see the wallets that were used in the creation of the false DAI. I'm going to call it false DAI from now on in. So, we've shown you the wallet before. The transaction hash is here, B79, and the wallet involved is ending in ACC 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Now, you can go and look this up yourself. You can win a lot of arguments by not actually arguing. So I don't want to get pulled into any debate, but there's certainly been a lot of real drama in the Pulse Chain community, and a lot of rumors and a lot of misidentified facts, that is for sure. Almost to the point of it's like, oh, this is a secret that only a few of us know about. So let's get hold of this before it becomes common knowledge, because everybody's saying that the false DAI will reach $1 all by its merry self, because you are going to buy it and push up the price to get it to £1. Okay. Now, here's my point about this. You need 221 million dollars, right? $22 billion of buy pressure on that coin to actually reach parity. Is that going to happen? Well, let's put it this way. Let's just talk about something else. I know that we, as a human race, don't live forever, because if we actually live forever, we wouldn't value our time here. We would probably go down the gym after about 10,000 years, probably have kids in a couple of hundred centuries. But we know we're going to die, and so therefore our time is limited. And therefore, we have to appreciate the time that we have now. And my point about all this is you can invest in one of two ways. You can do it simply, try and find a protocol that works, and then get on with the rest of your life, knowing that you don't have to worry about what's happening. Or you can sit in front of a computer screen every minute of the day, hoping that things are going to go your way. And how much time you waste doing all that is beyond comprehension when time is so finite. It is the most valuable resource that you will ever have. And, investing is only part of it. So that was one of the reasons why we created PulseN. It's a very simple protocol. It basically redistributes wealth. And if you participate in the PulseN economy, number one, what happens with the code, as those of you who are into PulseN know, but there are some newbies around. Maybe some of you are watching this as a replay watcher. Well, when you eventually get into PulseN, because there's no easy way into cryptocurrency. I mean, I think one of the easiest ways right now is you've obviously installed MetaMask, which is the easiest wallet to use. There are others, and you will probably be on the Ethereum chain at the very start. Now, to come across to the Pulse network, like the other train line, if you like, you have to bring your assets over. Now, one of the easiest things that you can do is on Ethereum, buy wrapped Pulse, which is available to buy. And then you use the Pulse bridge. Sorry, a lot of flies there. You use the Pulse bridge to, and you say to the guy at the beginning of the bridge, okay, here's my wrap Pulse, and the guy at the other side of the bridge will give you Pulse on Pulse chain. That's how the bridges work. And basically, the first guy holds your money. So there is a bit of a risk there, but there really shouldn't be. So that is the easiest way to buy Pulse. Okay, you buy wrap Pulse on Ethereum, you go to a bridge, and then you buy Pulse. Okay, you've got Pulse in your wallet. You must have Pulse in your wallet because just like Ethereum, on the Ethereum network, you need Pulse in order to make transactions happen. It doesn't matter what other crypto asset you're dealing with, you must have Pulse in your wallet. Otherwise, it don't work, which is the great promise of Pulse, of course. The more people that start to use the Pulse chain network, the more appreciation in Pulse there will be. And then having got some Pulse in your wallet, you can then immediately transact that on pts.io or gopulse.com for Pulse Zen. When you do that, you have to set the slippage to 3%. And the reason is, of course, that there is a deduction of 2% that happens for every single transaction. And if you don't account for that in the slippage, which you should set it for 3, because there is other functions which also deduct a very small amount for charity. And of course, part of this is a burn function. And it actually takes away some of the Pulse with every transaction. And basically, it makes PulseN deflationary. It's a scarcity piece of code, and it will actually reduce the supply of PulseN over time. Now, so long as we have the same amount of demand, or of course increasing demand, the very fact that every transaction is going to decrease the supply is going to make the price go up. That's just plain old maths, or math, as you Americans like to call it. So PulseN not only redistributes wealth, it's a deflationary token. Now, the wealth distribution method is like this. For every transaction, a buy or a sell, 2% is deducted into a pool. And then from that pool, every PulseN holder gets a proportion of that pool depending on how many Pulse-N you own at the time of the transaction. It's a fantastic mechanism which only requires you to buy Pulse-N, and that's it. You're in the system. There's no staking, no lockup. It's the simplest protocol that you could be invested in. And of course, having got that sorted out, you are then free to do the other things in life with your valuable time. Use the KISS principle. Keep it simple, stupid. No need to complicate things. You know, the great memcoin rush, excuse me, the great memcoin rush that there was, I think is about to die out very soon, that's in my humble opinion, is a bit of fun. It's like gambling, and it's what it does is it produces a dopamine hit. But there's a huge difference between serious investing and having fun losing one's money. All right, look, on the other flip side of the coin, you could say to me, well, look, Conrad, I put $10 into this coin and it's got up 100 times. And what are you going to do with those winnings? Look, I've said it before, you need passive income. It doesn't matter whether you manage to make $1 million and you think to yourself, I'm going to pay off my debts, I'm going to buy a house, going to buy a car, I might even leave my job. Let me tell you this, the moment that your income stops coming in, boy, you will notice the difference. You have to have passive income, because if you don't have passive income, you cannot afford to live. Even generating $5 million, if you don't generate income on that $5 million pot, it's not enough to live on. I mean, look, I never imagined that for 35 years of my life, I would not be earning money, in that I didn't have a job. I did have a job. I did have many careers. I was a banker, can you tell, into finance. I was into flying at one stage. I was into computer operating and computer programming at one stage. And then along came Bitcoin and everything changed for me financially. But the fact of the matter is, I've had to generate passive income for 35 years in order to live, and for the next 35 years, I hope. Now, once you understand that concept, you start looking at investment and cryptocurrencies on a very different level. It is a long-term game. And sure, you can have your fun and you can play about. I would much rather go to Las Vegas and bet on red. Why? Because Las Vegas is a heck of a lot of fun for your money. But I don't go there with the expectations of winning. Yes, some people do, but the majority lose. Otherwise, let's face it, there wouldn't be Las Vegas. So having bought into the coin of your choice, let's just hope that it pays you passive income. On that note, maybe I can show you something else that is of interest. I don't normally use this piece of software, so bear with me while I just show you. What have we got here? Right, so here's Pulse-N on Pulse-Chain. And you can see actually that there are a lot of liquidity pools on Pulse-Chain. Pulse-N against Hex, Pulse-N against ETH, against Wrapped BTC, Pulse-N against Pulse-N, very interesting. Pulse-N against Ethereum, couple of pools there, against Texan Token, Leonardo's UST, and then of course the main one, Pulse-N against Pulse, which is here. Now, don't forget that having all of these liquidity pools on Pulse-Chain affords us the ability for arbitrage trading. Don't forget that. But of course, one of the best things for passive income that you could do right now is to actually join one of these pools. Why? Because you're going to benefit from the fees generated from each and every transaction. And as transactional amounts increase, which of course they will because of the network effect, they will because of the inbound flow of fiat into cryptocurrency, which is going to happen considering the outflow that we've had. It's all going to come back in, and there's going to be more. So that's undoubted. There's no question about that. Getting into a liquidity pool is definitely one of the best things that you can do. And you could do that with DAI if you're not very risk averse, or of course the main one is Pulse Zen against Pulse. And the whole idea here, of course, is that we expect both these assets to go up in value. And so you holding the liquidity will allow you to generate fees and join in with the price gain action that's going to occur on the networks. Now, last time, some guy was asking about the price on Ethereum of Pulse Chain. Well, I would like to show you a very interesting fact. And just give me a second. Sorry to be such an idiot about this, but this is very interesting. This is right now, today, and we can see that Pulse Zen on Ethereum is not dead. And I shouldn't really say this, but I'm going to tell you something. Pulse Zen price on the Ethereum chain right now is 0.0002. Now, the Pulse chain price for Pulse Zen is 0.006 or roundabout. That is a bit of a difference. How can you take advantage of that? Well, one traditional way would be to take your Pulse Zen that you bought on Ethereum, bridge it across onto Pulse Zen, and voila, you've just increased your holdings in Pulse Zen. But how about this? What about being a bit smarter? What you can do is, instead of joining a liquidity pool on Pulse Chain, you could also join a liquidity pool on Pulse Zen on Ethereum. And the whole idea is that there should be parity between the two prices. I think I abdicated this right at the very beginning when Pulse Chain was going to be supposedly coming to the fore. I did say that eventually we were going to reach parity, but it's only going to reach parity if we can get people to understand the mechanics. And the missing link at the time was the bridge. Now we have the bridge. We have a couple of bridges that we can use. And the whole idea here is that you would actually move your Pulse Zen or Pulse Chain to Ethereum. And the reason for doing that would be to increase the price of Ethereum, and you would then join the liquidity pool or even just buy Pulse Zen on Ethereum, because eventually the two are going to reach parity. Imagine two chains, the coin, both the same price on each chain. And then eventually, when the arbitrage stops because it reaches parity, they will just grow in step, because it is undoubtedly true that in the future, the gas fees on Ethereum will go down. The gas fees on Pulse Chain will go up. Now, they'll never reach the same levels as they are on Ethereum until they've got sharding out of the way. And that's going to be a very long time. But until then, there are massive arbitrage opportunities that you could take advantage of if you want to go down that route. But adding liquidity to any of these pools on either chain is so easy, and it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer position to take. As I say, once you've done it, get on with other things in life. So the next thing we can do is have a look at what's going on with Pulse Chain coins. So if we can just have a look here, bear with me 1 second. Okay, I have to go back and share my screen. Yes, I want to share my screen. And yes, I want to show the screen. Okay, here we go. So just to show you, on gopulse.com, Pulse is down 3%. Pulse X is up 1.5%. And the incentive coin, which was at $7 something, by the way, is down another 5% today. Again, very lackluster performance. And Hex is down 4%. Pulse Zen, can I actually show you this? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so it shows us the screen here from today. And in the last minute, just change it to the daily. What have we got here? So it's at 0006, up 12.72%. Up 12% on the day. All right. What else have we got to talk about? Where is Pulse Chain in the grand scheme of things? Do we have a screen that shows that? Yeah, you can see that on CoinGecko Terminal. Is the easiest one, and we don't have that available where we're sitting, I don't think. Oh yeah, we can show you this here. So if we scroll down, we can see the Pulse Chain today, the network is at number 8 in the rankings, and with a transaction of $7.7 million. That doesn't sound like a dead chain to me. It sounds like a nascent growing chain to me. And of course, with the court cases going on, the publicity has not been great. Now, the thing about the court cases is, if you can just see this here, the latest court case against Richard Hart is that they filed an amicus brief in the South Carolina district, and they said that they're going to continue looking at the fact, which is good news, because it means now that they are going to actually look at this properly. The amicus brief may even be actually looked at. Also, some guy has come forward and put himself forward to oppose this motion on behalf of Richard Hart. I'm not quite sure of all the details. You can look that up, I'm sure. There we go. Anyway, so that's just a quick update of where we are in the world of Pulse Chain and Pulse today. As I say, winning arguments is easy, just don't get into them in the first place. However, I think I've showed you some interesting data, which if you're that interested, you can go and look up yourself. Just don't take anybody's word for something. Please do your own research. It's not that difficult to get onto Scan Pulse Chain or Etherscan, and you can check out these addresses for yourself. And you can just see, excuse me. Oh, DYOR. Fantastic times ahead. There's no doubt about it. We are in a fantastic time to be alive. Okay, just some time for some questions. If anybody has any, I'll be very Outseason says, can I show this? No. Hang on. We need to grow holders. We'll be doing the Pulsinator again. No, won't be doing the Pulsinator again. If we need to grow holders, it's up to you guys as a community to explain the benefits of PulseN and to grow organically from there. Giving away Pulsinator, it's too valuable an asset to give away any more PulseN. I mean, we've given away quite a few millions. We started off with 880 million right at the very beginning. And I think if you do your chain analysis, you'll see that that figure has gone down drastically already. So another incentive for you to get involved or to actually dollar cost average. Of course, Pulse Chain is ideal for dollar cost averaging into an asset because the transaction fees are so cheap. So I think I'm going to end the broadcast here. It's coming towards the end of the evening, and I need to move a little bit because some bad weather coming in. And so we want to be a little bit more secure than we are right now. I hope I've given you some food for thought. Paulsen's doing fantastic. You guys have done a super amazing job. There's no doubt about it. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. From all the FUD we had in the beginning, all the debacle that we had at the beginning, everybody had written us off. But I can guarantee you, just looking at the figures today, we went up 12%. Why? Because you guys are understanding what the protocol is about. And you're valuing your time. You're valuing your time more than you ever did before. So I'll just have a quick look through the comments to see if there's anybody asked anything. Any questions? Kevman says, love these conversations. Thank you, Kevman. I'm here for a couple of minutes. If anybody has any burning questions, I can answer them now. Comment from Zenite. He says, let's make this our year. We will be soon coming up to 2 years. 2 years. Has it been 2 years? Just 2 more years since PZM was deployed on Ethereum on the 8th of the 8th. Wealth is in abundance. Yes, there is no scarcity of wealth. We just need a better redistribution system. CB says, beautiful scenery. Yeah, we're in the Caribbean right now, and the sea's a beautiful color, very nice around here. And there's a bit of sunshine today, which is unusual. Don't let them fool you. It is not always like this. The weather just recently has changed dramatically from this time last year. I can tell you that for nothing. With the change over in the El Nino to El Ninar or whatever it's called, we've definitely seen more rain. And of course, we are about to see the first tropical Atlantic storm of the season. So there are going to be more tropical storms and hurricanes this side of the fence, whereas there should be less typhoons, as they're known, on the other side of the fence. Time will tell, and we'll see exactly what is going to happen. Any more questions before I go? Will you be upgrading the deck screener? Thanks, Trinity Realm. Well, if you think that that is going to be valuable to some people, maybe somebody from the community could update that. I do not know. If you think it is a good idea, let us know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wish you a very good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you happen to be in the world. Sludgy bar to everybody. I'm Conrad Zen, former Bitcoin Foundation member and evangelist for Paulsen. Wishing you a very pleasant midweek, and join me next time for the next live session for some interesting information. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining in. Thank you to my replay viewers. More to come. Thank you.